Roman Reigns has always been a villain in WWE, and Paul Heyman's amazing promo exposed him. This week's edition of WWE Raw on Netflix featured yet another unforgettable moment on the microphone, courtesy of Paul Heyman. The former Wiseman of the Bloodline made his way to the ring just as Jey Uso was about to discuss his highly anticipated match against Logan Paul at WWE Backlash on May 10th. But rather than fueling the hype for the bout, Heyman took the opportunity to cut one of the most powerful promos of his career, a heartfelt justification of his recent betrayal of Roman Reigns. In a compelling speech that blurred the lines between heel and hero, Heyman flipped the narrative, painting himself not as a villain, but as a true victim in this ongoing saga. He acknowledged the backlash he received after turning his back on both CM Punk and Roman Reigns to align with Seth Rollins. Still, he insisted that the decision wasn't born out of malice. It was survival. Caught in a no-win situation, Heyman claimed he simply chose the smartest, most strategic path forward. He didn't stop there. Heyman pointed a subtle finger at Reigns himself, stating that it wasn't his fault that the tribal chief dropped the ball at WrestleMania 40, losing the undisputed WWE Universal Championship to Cody Rhodes. According to Heyman, the downfall of the Bloodline didn't start with his betrayal. It began with Reigns' failure to live up to the burden of greatness. As he brought his promo to a close, Heyman issued a chilling warning to Jey Uso. Seth Rollins is coming for the gold. That line was enough to light a fire under the Yeet Man, who stormed out and challenged the Architect to a match in the main event. The segment served not only as a setup for a blockbuster showdown later tonight, but also as another example why Heyman is widely considered one of the greatest orators in professional wrestling history. Heyman's central message was clear. He was never the true bad guy in the Bloodline. Roman Reigns was. This claim struck a nerve, especially when considering the long and complex journey of Roman Reigns himself. When he broke away from the Shield a decade ago, it was clear that WWE had chosen him as their next megastar. However, fans weren't ready to embrace another corporate champion after enduring years of John Cena's overexposure. While Cena had his fans, many in the WWE universe had grown tired of his seemingly invincible, squeaky clean image. They saw Reigns as the second coming of Super Cena, and they weren't having it. The backlash was immediate and intense. Despite winning multiple world titles, Reigns was relentlessly booed. It wasn't necessarily personal. Many fans respected his work ethic and real-life strength, especially after his battle with leukemia in 2018. But the overall sentiment remained. Reigns was being pushed too hard, too fast, and fans didn't appreciate being force-fed another hero. Everything changed when Roman turned heel. In a bold creative shift, Reigns reinvented himself as a cold, manipulative leader and formed the Bloodline alongside Paul Heyman and his cousins, the Usos. This darker, more complex version of Reigns captivated audiences in a way the big dog persona never could. He no longer begged for fans' approval. Instead, he demanded acknowledgement, and the fans listened. For nearly 5 years, the Bloodline storyline dominated WWE programming, regularly pulling in the highest ratings and delivering some of the most compelling moments in modern wrestling history. Reigns embraced the role of an arrogant and calculating tyrant, ruling with absolute power, and fans couldn't look away. But as history often teaches us, absolute power eventually breeds corruption. The longer Reigns remained on top, the more tyrannical he became. His grip on the company grew tighter, and his behavior increasingly erratic. What started as a compelling anti-hero arc evolved into full-blown villainy. It was no longer about protecting his family or proving himself. It became about control, fear, and domination. That's the angle Paul Heyman exploited this week. By pointing out Reigns' descent into darkness and framing his own actions as self-preservation, Heyman added a new layer to an already intricate story. He didn't just betray Roman Reigns, he escaped him. With Seth Rollins now in the mix and Jey Uso trying to find his footing in the post-Bloodline era, WWE is masterfully weaving together threads from the past to shape the future. And Paul Heyman, ever the puppet master, remains at the center of it all.